Hey guys, welcome back. Today's video is going to be a chatty, get ready with me, not using a specific brand of products, not going for a specific look. I'll just tell you a little bit about my day and the makeup look I'm going for. So right now it is 7:10. So right now it is 7:10 a.m. and I am getting ready because the baby's still asleep. I may end up having to pick her up and get all, you know, take a pause, go feed her, and then get back to filming. But we're going to be going to my nephew's birthday party, one of my nephew's birthday parties. And then we're going to my husband's parents to watch a little bit of football. And then I'm going to go to my mother-in-law's church and sing at her church. If you didn't know, I have a bachelor's degree in music. I did voice, I sang in my undergrad, and then for grad school I got an MBA. So I don't actually use my music degree, I work in IT, but just kind of interesting side fact. But I am going to be singing and I'm going to be on stage today, so I want my makeup to look really good, really full coverage. I just want to look healthy, not like super cakey, not dramatic. This church is going to be a lot of maybe elderly people, so I want it to be, you know, I'm not going to wear like neon orange anything, just kind of try to look my best. So I definitely want a full coverage for the foundation. I'm going to do a primer concoction. This is the Professional by Benefit. I'm going to do a little bit of that for smoothing purposes right around the T-zone. But then on the rest of my face, I'm actually going to be using Smashbox Photo Finish Foundation Primer. This is just like a classic. It doesn't do you wrong. Honestly, I'm not sure how much it does, but the area I really need primer is more on the center of my face, so this is just kind of going on the perimeter. Alright. I'm going to definitely under eye correct. As you can see, I have total new mom eyes. My eyes are way darker than the rest of my face. This is the Bobbi Brown Intensive Skin Serum Corrector in the shade Light to Medium Bisque 3. And it's kind of like a slightly pinky peach under eye kind of shade. I'm using my Real Techniques dampened beauty sponge, and I'm using the pointed end to blend that in. So for Chit Chatty, I wanted to do kind of like a life update, and recently, if you didn't watch the video, it was 29 minutes, I announced that I have multiple sclerosis, or MS, and so I just wanted to thank you guys for being so nice and supportive in the comments. I wasn't telling you to make you like pity me or anything like that. I just wanted you to know so that you understood where I was coming from. Coffee break. So I'm using my Crown brand, just like a palette. You can use a candle lid or whatever, but I'm going to mix two foundations on here. I'm mixing the Dermacol Makeup Cover Film Studio foundation. I got this on Amazon for about 20 bucks. It is the most full coverage foundation that I own. If you guys haven't seen the review on it, I did a review on this, and here I'm going to put some photos. This is right after I had the baby, and you can see how small she is in this photo. My skin was terrible. Now you can see it's much better. She's about 4 months old now. So my skin has gotten so much better, and I don't think that the foundation was the reason, but when I was having like my worst skin I've ever had in my entire life, this foundation is what did it. This is what covered it up. This is what made me feel okay again in the world. So this is the before and after. So now you can see why. So I'm using Estee Lauder Double Wear in 1W2 Sand, which is a little light, and Dermacol 213, which is a little dark. And I'm going to use my Real Techniques Beauty Sponge, and I'm going to combine those two and just pounce it all over my face. So the interesting thing about having a baby is that I fed her, she slept from like 9 to 4:20. So it's like 7 hours, you know, it's pretty good for a 4-month-old. And I slept that whole time, so I feel pretty good today. And then I fed her on one side. I am exclusively breastfeeding. I fed her on one side, and now though the other boob is like so engorged, so full, because it hasn't fed her since like 8:30 last night, and it's like 7 something. So I almost just decided to go and pump really quickly before I filmed, but I'm not. Anyway, I wanted to thank you guys for your support, and I asked you in that video like what you would do if you were me, if you would get the treatment for MS, or if you would just finish breastfeeding and all of that. So I have made a decision, and some of you who don't care about this, you can fast forward a few minutes if you want, but basically I'm going to continue nursing my daughter for the next few months. And then early next year we'll probably start trying for our second baby, because the doctors told me there's no rush on taking this treatment, and that it takes several months to start working, and that if I was going to take it for 6 months and then get off it and start trying for another kid, that it really wouldn't do that much good in that amount of time. And then while I'm pregnant, most women are protected, because your body like protects itself and you don't have flare-ups when you're pregnant. So if you don't know anything about MS, the flare-ups are basically like, you can get all kinds of stuff. Cognitive things, your brain, if you have flare-ups, lesions on your brain, you can actually have like memory loss, or just like an inability to like focus or remember things, or do things that used to be easy for you. Suddenly they're really challenging brain-wise, but also it can be like your body impairment, like you can't use your arms, suddenly you're like paralyzed, but just temporarily, usually, commonly. If you have remitting, relapsing MS like I do, usually the symptoms get better. Maybe not 100% better, but they'll get like 80 or 90% better. So, yeah. So anywhere I need a second layer, I'm just kind of tapping on a tiny bit more product right now. And then I'm taking it down my chin just to make sure I don't have like a harsh line. I did, if you didn't notice, I covered my ears just a little, because my ears tend to be a little bit red. A little bit red, a little bit pink. And I didn't want, since my hair is going to be half up today, I didn't want it to be sticking out. But yeah, with a baby, I'm not wearing my hair down nearly as much. You hear my I'm not wearing my hair down nearly as much as I used to. Because she likes to pull on things, like necklaces and hair and earrings and my husband's chest hair and arm hair and stuff. So I don't normally anymore. I used to, but I don't take my foundation much down my neck and chest, because I have a baby and she's often up against my chest. But today I'm going to make an exception. I'll just try to be careful and not have her touching my chest too much. I just want to make sure that I'm blended. I'm not adding any additional product down here. I'm just trying to like make myself all one color. So this is just whatever's left on the sponge is what I'm using. Okay, so for the under eyes, I'm using my Tarte Shape Tape concealer in light medium. I did take the foundation up under my eyes, so I don't need much today. That's all I need, just that little amount. And then I'm using the pointed end of the Beauty Blender, or Real Techniques Beauty Sponge. But yeah, when you have a baby and you're nursing, you can tell, like one boob is bigger than the other, that's one thing. But you also have to dress strategically. So today I was thinking, I wanted a dress for this day. I'm like football, church, a birthday party. I needed to make sure I had a lot of different, you know, appropriate outfits. But I decided to just do one outfit. I probably will be the most overdressed person at this child's birthday party, because I'm wearing like a dress and heels and, you know, Spanx, and I'm like dressed up, but that's okay. I'm using my IT Cosmetics Celebration Foundation Illumination Powder in light. It's just a really nice, not drying looking powder. And I'm going to use that only under the eyes. And this is the e.l.f. highlighting brush. I don't care, I don't need much of this. I'm just using it right under the eyes. This is not a drying powder, so it's not going to give me like super crepey dry under eyes. And the reason I'm using it is because it's the shade light, so only use it on the center of my face. And now I'm going to be using the Maybelline Fit Me Matte and Poreless Powder in the shade 230. So this is a lot darker. Let me show you. Here's the IT Cosmetics one again. You see the color difference? IT Cosmetics is the white one. So hopefully you could tell that the IT Cosmetics one is much lighter. This one is much darker. And I'm just using a big brush. This is the Sigma Tapered Face Brush for this powder. And I'm putting that everywhere else that wasn't my under eyes. Because that Dermacol foundation is very, very luminous. Even if you have dry skin, like, you get a glow. If you have oily skin, you will be an oily mess by like 10 a.m. Depending on when you put it on, I guess. But I have to set that foundation, and I don't have to set most foundations because I'm pretty normal right now. I might get a tiny bit shiny by like, you know, late in the day, but not much. Alright. So this is what I wanted. I wanted my acne to look completely gone. I do not have active acne. You know, all the spots I have are old, but it's still there, and I don't want people to see it. So that's something I strive to fix. For contour, I'm using the Estee Edit the Barest Bronzer, the Estee Lauder brand. And yes, it says bronzer, but I'm going to use the e.l.f. highlighting brush. So I'm using a bronzer and a highlighter to do contour. Whatever. And I'm starting at the top of the ear, going in a line towards the corner of the mouth, stopping at about mid-eye. Yeah, I've decided to keep nursing, and that's going really well. She only had formula for about 2 weeks, and that was because I thought I had no choice, but it turns out I did have a choice. I mean, with a lot of healthcare stuff, you have a choice. I mean, it might not be what the doctors want, but you have a choice. But with this case, 2 different neurologists said, why don't you just have your next baby now? 2 of them. I was like, well, we were planning on having them two years apart. And they're like, well, talk to your OBGYN and see how far apart they think is safe with C-sections. And so I asked my OBGYN, and they're like, 18 months. I'm like, okay. So we are not trying to have another baby right now. I have a 4-month-old. No, thank you. But sometime next year. So this is the Hourglass Ambient Lighting Bronzer in the shade Radiant Bronze Light. You don't need much of this, so I'm using the Real Techniques blush brush. And I'm just kind of like bronzing up the perimeter of my face, but I don't need much of this. And it's going to bring back a little bit of warmth, a little bit of glow. So that's why I'm going kind of easy on it. Looking healthier. Alright, and then the NARS blush in the shade Madly. This one is described as seashell pink. To me, it is described in my description as a very like nude blush. So I'm putting a very, very generous swatch of this on the center of my hand. So you can see. It is like very nude. Hopefully you can tell. It's kind of glowy, but definitely nude. So I'll use the e.l.f. blush brush right there on the apples of the cheeks and backwards towards the hairline. I just want something that looked like I was actually just blushing, you know? Nothing too dramatic, nothing blue tone, pink tone, because that doesn't look natural on my yellow undertone skin. Okay, and then for highlight, I didn't want to be super dramatic again, so this is the Laura Geller Baked Highlighter in French Vanilla. Now, Emily Noel 83, if you don't watch her, you should on YouTube. She recommends this highlighter a lot. So I'm going back in with that e.l.f. highlighting brush. And she always says it's like your glow from within, because it really is a natural looking bronzer, or a natural looking highlighter. It's not like glittery, it's not a Becca highlighter. It's not super metallic, super foiled. It actually just makes you look like you're glowing from within. And that's the look I'm going for, always. Now I'm going to prime my eyes with my MAC Paint Pot and Painterly. I think this MAC Paint Pot and Painterly is one of my best investments of makeup ever. I'm going to fill in my brows with the Anastasia Beverly Hills Brow Wiz. This is in the shade Soft Brown. Just a tiny little pencil. Again, nothing too dramatic today. So yes, as far as my MS goes, I am feeling much better. As far as like health goes, I never really felt bad. I definitely was depressed for a few weeks there. I was nervous, I was feeling sad, I was feeling, why me, you know, envious of other people that don't have the disease. I was feeling scared. I was reading up on it online of other people who have it, and you always hear about the worst cases of MS, you know. People who've been hospitalized, people have all these problems, and they're in the middle of a flare-up, so it's like a really bad time for MS. Like, you can have bad times with any disease, right? You can have good times, though. Especially with something like MS, because MS is remitting relapsing. Mine is. I don't have like the progressive MS. So I'm just spooling, new verb, spooling through my brows right now. So you'll have times when you're pretty much a normal person, like you don't have any noticeable ailments and nobody would know that you have MS. And some of your symptoms are going to be untraceable from others. Like my vision, nobody would have known that I had a vision problem That was how I found out I had MS, actually, is my left eye got really, really fuzzy, and then I started having a blind spot. And so I went to the doctor, and they're like, yeah, you have MS. We did a bunch of different tests, obviously, but if you didn't watch the 30-minute video, that's the short story version. But yeah, I definitely was scared and nervous and depressed and everything, but my vision has come back like 80%. I have no problem, like I can read with my left eye. If I just cover my right eye and try to just read with my left eye, I can do it. I'm able to. It's just like not as clear, you know? Okay, eyes are primed, we're ready to go. I'm gonna go ahead and pause the camera. I'm gonna do one eye off camera because I don't even know what I'm gonna do yet, and then I'll be right back. Baby is up, so we are on a timeline now. The Milani Color Statement Lipstick in number 43, Naturally Pretty. For eyes, I decided to use the Too Faced Chocolate Bar palette. So for the transition, I used the Peanut Butter shade over here. It's just a tan shade on a Sigma E40 tapered blending brush. So I already finished one eye, and then I zoomed you in so you guys could see the other eye. If my brows look different, it's because in the middle I actually started working on my brows because they were bothering me. I was all zoomed in and I was like, nope, I need to tweeze my brows. So took a few minutes and did that. Then I'm using this Champagne-y shade. I lost the insert for this palette. They had the shade names like written on a little clear plastic thing. I hate that. I think they've recently like started to work on that, like not doing that, instead of like putting the names on the palette. So hopefully they'll fix that for going forward. But now I'm using the matte off-white shade. I think this was like called like vanilla something. Using that on a Sigma E30 pencil brush right under the brow bone, or right on the brow bone. And then I'm using that same shade on the inner corner of the eye, that same brush. Then I'm going in with the shimmery off-white. It's more of like a champagne-y color. I'm just putting that, the shimmery part, right on the tip underneath the brow and on the inner corner of the eye. And then I'm going in with the Sigma E39 Buff and Blend brush. And I'm using this shade here, which I think was like Malted Milk Ball or something like that. A little bit of the burgundy shade, which I think was Cherry Cordial, and this bottom shade, I don't remember what it was. Basically, it's like a dark, warm brown. And that's all I have in the outer V and the crease. So I just use this brush that's got a little bit more of a dome tip, a little bit stiffer, so I can actually draw that V. And then I put a little bit in the crease. I don't take it all the way inwards, just to like the halfway mark of the eye. And then I go back in with that tapered blending brush that I used with the tan, the peanut butter shade. And I blend it out. And then I did a two-step process for eyeliner today. I'm going to touch up that lid shade just a little. Two-step process for liner today. I'm using MAC's Eye Kohl in Costa Riche, which is a warm, almost like a reddish brown. Doing a pretty thick line up here with that. And then I take that also in the tight line. And then I use a smudger brush. This one's a flat definer brush by Jessup, but I know they make them by Sigma. Elf has a smudger brush. And I'm basically just trying to blend that out and like soften the line. Since this is an eye kohl, it's a bit more smudgy than the average liner. It doesn't set immediately, so you can kind of work with it. Then on top of that, I went in with the Kat Von D tattoo liner in Trooper, which is a black liner, right? A thin line at the lash line. So that's kind of like what gives me the definition. But I still don't get the harshness of black up against my eye look because I have the brown there to like kind of serve as a middleman. My mirror is right here in case you're wondering what I'm looking at. Probably figured it out by now. Alright, so then I actually curled my lashes. I say actually because I rarely do that. But today I just want to look my best. And then I'm going in with the Essence Lash Princess False Lash Effect. I always screw that up. mascara on the top lashes, a little bit on the lower lashes. I'm actually going to leave the lower lashes bare today. I just wanted the lower lash line to be more natural. Like I said, I think I'm going to be the most overdressed person there, so I didn't want to be, you know, too crazy with the makeup. I just wanted to keep it what an average woman would wear, not a beauty YouTuber. Alright, I'm going to be using the Urban Decay All Nighter Makeup Setting Spray. Definitely key if you want your makeup to last a long time. The reason I'm having to push so many times is because mine is almost out, in case you were wondering. Alright, so this is the finished look that I came up with. Yes, the liner's a little bit bold, but I think the rest of it is pretty natural. So I hope you guys enjoyed watching this video. Don't forget to subscribe if you haven't already, and I'll talk to you guys later. Bye.